Have you ever thought what it would be like to be resistant-free selling, influence, persuasion, negotiation? How can you grease those squeaky wheels? I'm going to say of your clothes. That's where you're losing people. That's where you're scaring people. What are you doing? What can you do to be resistant-free? To help people persuade themselves and quit getting on their sales radar. Let's do it.
Maximize your influence. Kurt Mortensen is the author of Persuasion IQ, Laws of Charisma, and the best-selling book, Maximum Influence.
Hey, welcome to Podcast 565. Kurt Mortensen here. This is Maximize Your Influence. Hey, you want to double your income, you can double the amount of people that you talk to or double your close rate. That's what we're going to talk about. That final 5% of your presentation. The close is the easy part if you've done everything right before that. This is where you get paid. And I know that's where your nerves hit. You're asking for the money, but the challenge is your prospects complain. They're like, they're different because your demeanor changes. They're like, what happened to people person? They're all stressed. They're all tense. They're afraid to talk. They're afraid to ask me questions. You're losing the deal. You're freaking them out. So we want to talk about what I call greasing the squeaky wheels of your clothes. So let's kick it off today with the persuasion blunder.
Don't!
And that's one of the fun things I get to do is ask your prospects after they've lied to you, said no, what's going on, what really happened. Because they told you too expensive, need to think about it, got to talk to my partner. But the reality is maybe they didn't trust you. Maybe you didn't sell them how they wanted to be sold. So this time, instead of going to the prospects, I went to our friendly, well, I don't know if they're friendly, they act friendly, AI, artificial intelligence, and asked them, what is the primary frustration prospects have with influencers, with salespeople? And the different ones that I used, they agreed. The bottom line is salespeople prioritize their agenda, which is making the sale, making the commission, getting the yes, over understanding and addressing the prospect's needs. Now, if you've been in business a long time, you know your stuff, you know your product, you know your service, and you know it's a good fit, but they don't feel like you know what their pain is, what their needs are. So is this happening to you? It can manifest itself in several different ways when people feel unheard, maybe pushed, undervalued. The big one, talking too much. I would say 70-30, that you're listening 70% of the time and talking 30% of the time, especially in the beginning of your presentation. They complain. They talked about 20 minutes about their product's features without ever asking anything about my business or what I actually needed. And you're probably assuming 100% correctly sometimes, maybe even most of the time, but everyone needs their own solution, needs to feel you're adapting, you're catering to them, that you understand their wants, needs, their pains, their desires. It just shows complete disregard for their unique situation. They feel like you're wasting their time, that you're just vomiting on them. They're another number, not a potential partner. You are the salesperson, not the consultant. Along those lines, the lack of personalization. Show up, throw up, spray and pray, they also call it, where they're getting the generic presentation, the generic emails, the generic voicemails that aren't tailored to them, their personality, their industry, their role. And your voicemail sounds like you left it 100 times because you have, but it can't sound that way. If you give the same presentation 100 times, great, you know it, but it can't sound that way. So when you're doing these mass outreach, social media, text, email, voicemails, you have to adapt. It just shows laziness, lack of respect. They're one of the numbers. You're just dialing for dollars. You have to spend a little time to adapt that subject line in the email, what it says in the text, what it says in the voicemail, and adapt your presentation to them. When I teach persuasive presentation, here's the key. Same potatoes, change the gravy. Meaning 80-90% of your presentation's the same. You just have to adjust it a little bit. Same rice, change the curry. Come on, same pasta, change the sauce. The other one where they're feeling that it's all about you and not them is being pushy, high pressure. They complain, they try to strong-arm me. I had to make a decision that day. They were using scare tactics, limited time offers, missing out. The most abused, overused law of persuasion on the books, law of scarcity. And the challenge with that is that you care more about hitting quota than finding the right solution for them. That you are willing to use these old school techniques that creates distrust, makes them feel manipulated, and causes them to tune out and disengage. You can help them close themselves. You can do it the right way, but we panic in the close. But the reality is they should be closed before that. And the one, and you're like, well, this doesn't apply to me. Dishonesty, distrust, insincerity. They say something like, I felt like they were just saying what I wanted to hear. They were exaggerating, and I felt they were dishonest. Trust is an all-time low. Even though you're a good, trustworthy person, you have to earn it. It used to be, I trust you, give me a reason not to. Now it's, I don't trust you, give me a reason to trust you. They have to sense now more than ever that you're authentic, you're real. It's not false enthusiasm. It's real energy. It's real passion. And if anytime they feel deceived, you're done. They might not say, yeah, I don't trust you. They're just going to have a knee-jerk objection and you'll never hear from them again. One of those better be on your list. We could all work on these. Even if it's not your intent, even if it's not your heart, you could be coming across that way. Especially if you're not getting a lot of return phone calls, or they say they're going to do it and you never hear from them again, or the famous, I'll be back, and they never come back. So that's our persuasion blunder of the week, and that brings us to our geeky scholarly article. Now we talked about dishonesty, lack of trust, being insincere. This article comes from YouGov.com, and it's titled Trust in Media 2025, Which News Sources Americans Use and Trust. Now, if you look at the trust scale around the world, across the board, trust in media has dropped. But the lowest of the low on the trust scale is the United States. So they looked at 52 news sources. You want to know the number one top news source? I think this is cheating a little bit. The Weather Channel. Probably because they're just saying like it is, this is the weather, this is what's going on, they're predicting what's going to happen. Now, the least trusted on the source was the National Enquirer. For my international friends, that's just the gossip, making stuff up type news. PBS, Forbes, ESPN, which is sports, Wall Street Journal, Reuters, Associated Press. Those are the ones that came in at the top. In the bottom, National Enquirer, InfoWars, Breitbart News, People Magazine. But many outlets have a net positive trust, especially with financial news like Forbes, Wall Street Journal, Financial Times, Business Insider, The Economist. They rated CNN, MSNBC, Fox News as the most politically polarizing outlets. And this has been a change. This has been a shift. Why is it going down? Why is their trust so low? We've caught them in lies, and they spin it how they want to spin it to meet the needs of the people watching it. See, in the past, news outlets had to shoot down the middle. I remember being really young. There were 3 stations. You watched one at 6 o'clock. They were all pretty much the same. They all shot down the middle because they had to resonate with everybody. And what's interesting back then, the news was, this is what happened. Now the news is more, well, this could happen. What if this does happen? Build a little fear. You're talking to the people. You're resonating with them. You have the panel. They're triggering those emotions. They're triggering that fear. It's changed. This is what happened to, hey, this could happen. What if it did happen? It might happen. It's going to happen. You should be scared. That has changed it quite a bit. And part of another change, too, is our social media feeds. They found that many Americans consume news from social media. The highest trusted ones were YouTube, then LinkedIn, and then the bottom of the list, TikTok, Facebook, and Snapchat. Again, that's a challenge with social media. It feeds you what you want to read, what you want to hear, what triggers your buttons. So in the last year, the percent of people who got news from social media went up 6%. So there's some distrust there, but it's easier, quicker, and faster for a lot of people. Again, the top ones are YouTube, LinkedIn, Nextdoor, Reddit, Instagram, WhatsApp. But if you look at the news in general, going to the TV, Fox News was number 1, CNN number 2, ABC number 3. But then they asked, how does the news make you feel? And the top of the list, informed. And then the next one, angry, anxious, cynical, overwhelmed, depressed, and confused. So, hey, be careful with your news intake. Careful who you trust. I recommend probably limiting it. If you have to look at the news, read it, and then go to 2 different sources. Like if it's a big political news, go look at Fox News, go look at CNN, shoot somewhere down the middle. That's probably your truth. But again, too much news, more than, 15, 30 minutes a day, is going to make you, let me go down the list again, angry, anxious, cynical, overwhelmed, depressed, and confused. So distrust at an all-time low for media around the world, especially those in the United States. Which brings us to our listener email.
Oh boy!
Remember, use your email on the podcast or your humor or your suggestion or your geeky article. You get free influenceuniversity.com. But remember, all the links, all the information, all the posts are at maximizeyourinfluence.com, podcast 565. This is from Philip or Felipe, I'm not sure what part of the world. He says, Kurt, I'm crafting a call to action right now for a presentation I'm doing, following the format in the Perfect Persuasive Presentation webinar. What can I do to enhance the flow and make it easier for them to say yes during the close without, as you say, being cheesy, high lactose, old school closer? And that's what we'll be talking about. How to not change demeanor, to be resistant free, and how to grease the squeaky wheels during your close. What to do, what to add to make it more seamless. Now, I'm not a big fan of the closes. I think they should close themselves. I think when they get to the close, again, it's only about 5% of your presentation. Because people get nervous, they got to beat around the bush. This is the close, you're asking for the money. Again, you're freaking them out. This, if you've done everything the right way, should be pretty simple, pretty fast. Do you see how that will change your life? Yeah. All right, let's get going. But let's put some things in there that makes it easier for the brain to say yes, to do resistant-free closes. The first one is that you need to provide options. They give people the freedom to feel like they're making the final decision, that you're not backing to the corner, that you're not being pushy, that they are the final decision maker, especially when you're dealing with an authority figure, a buyer, a purchaser, C-level type people. You need to help them persuade themselves. Just like this elderly lady, the doctor says, here's your medication. You need to take it every morning with your breakfast. She wouldn't do it. Her kids tried to convince her. Her neighbors tried to convince her, wouldn't take it. Finally, out of frustration, her son took her to another doctor, and the doctor said, oh, here's the medication. This is what we need to do. You need to choose here. Do you want to take this medication every morning with your breakfast or every evening with your dinner? She's like, dinner. The doctor didn't care, but she started to take her medication. People need that autonomy, so they feel like they're making a decision they're choosing. They're not getting backed into that corner. Now, be careful here. Make sure every option wins for you. The doctor didn't care in the morning or evening, just wanted it to happen. Do you want it in green or blue? Do you want to start Wednesday or Thursday? Do you want to meet at 2 or 3? All great options. So whatever option they choose, they're done, they close, they win for you, but they feel like they're choosing. You can do this with your kids. Hey, do you want to take out the trash or do the dishes? They feel more autonomous, especially the teenage years, to be able to make the choice. So give options that all meet your goals. The next rule is only use 2 to 3 options. Think about this. How many perfumes can you smell without knowing what you smelled? Or as monitoring a mutual fund advisor, they did a little research, they met with their prospects. I mean, there's thousands of mutual funds. And so they narrow it down to help them out. Here are the 77 mutual funds that fit your financial needs. And your head goes, because a confused, overwhelmed brain says, no, it explodes. It's too much. I need to think about it. 77? How about this? Grocery store lays out all these jams. Here are 24 jams. Test them out, try them out. Here's some crackers, here's some bread. You choose the one that you like the best, and here's a 50% off coupon. That hurt their sales. Sales went down. But when they reduced the number of jams, that increased their sales. So give them 2 options. At the most 3, and let them choose. Options are powerful, easy way to close. I mean, think about it. Hey, do you want to go with the gold or silver version? I want to go with gold. Done and done. Sign them up. They have closed themselves. Another one I would add right there when they're sitting on the fence, give yourself a little confidence, give them a little confidence, is provide some type of guarantee, some type of warranty, or even a personal promise. But when they're sitting on the fence, everything looks good. Need a little nudge for them to say yes. Guarantee's the way to go. It's a little reassurance that you stand behind your service, your product, your company. This can be very powerful. A great guarantee gets your prospect to think, I have everything to gain and nothing to lose. It puts their mind at ease that this is going to solve their problem and you believe in it. So go big on a guarantee. Make it so incredible your prospect feels comfortable going forward with the purchase. Also, the study's been showing the longer the guarantee, the better. It gets them using it. It shows them it's better than they thought. I've seen great guarantees double and sometimes even triple close rates. Now, some of you might start to panic here. Oh, what if someone takes advantage of the guarantee? What if they love it, use it, still want a refund? What if they're dishonest? Now, there's dishonest people out there. It's true. 1 in every 10,000 people is dishonest. And I made that up. Makes me feel better. But hey, if your guarantee is going to double, triple your sales, it's worth it to you. It's rare, but every once in a while, someone's going to take advantage of you, take advantage of a great guarantee. But if it's doubling your sales, it really doesn't matter because it's going to be a small percent. If I'm speaking to a group of entrepreneurs, tell them this persuasion program is going to double their income in the next 6 months. Big promise, right? And people get into it. They see it's increasing their income. They do it. Now, every once in a while, there's just someone that duplicates the product, doubles their income, but still wants a refund. Sure, but it's so rare, and that guarantee dramatically increases your income. It makes a difference. So what is your guarantee? What is your warranty? Or even a personal promise? So options are going to help you out. Guarantee is going to help you out. And one I made fun of earlier, the law of scarcity, one of the 12 laws of persuasion. But again, it's so abused, so overused, but you still need to use it. If you want a seamless, resistant-free close, you need scarcity under the radar that helps them make a quicker decision. It makes people act because they don't want to miss out. You've seen people in lines to get their iPhones, to get the gaming equipment. That's legitimate scarcity. Again, it drives people to action and gets them to say yes. Again, abused, overused. I mean, really, how often can a furniture store go out of business? Sale ends today. Last one left in your size. Someone else is coming tonight to look at it. But on the flip side, if you give them no reason to make a decision today, they're not going to make a decision today. I remember going on this cruise. It's the island of Grenada. We were eating dinner. There's this couple at the table who had been there before. I'm like, okay, what do you do? What do we see? They're like, hey, this is the only place on earth you can get nutmeg syrup. Like, really? Only place on earth? So we got off the ship, and what do? We bought a couple bottles of this nutmeg syrup, which we never used, rotted in our cupboard, but it was the only place in the world to get it. I remember buying a car, we're negotiating, going back and forth. That's my thing, having a lot of fun. I'm like, all right, done. I'll come back tomorrow morning with the check. Oh no, someone else coming tonight. Look at it. You got to do it now. I'm like, yeah, hello, persuader. And I came back the next day and it was gone. So we've been burned in the past too. So that's in the back of their mind. So this scarcity, this urgency, also known as psychological reactance. So here's some keys to use it the right way. First of all, they need to know why. The brain needs to know why there's a limited supply, why the sale ends today, why the price is going up on Friday, why this offer is only good for 2 weeks. Let them know why. I'm only accepting 2 clients this month. Why? I have limited time. Make sure it's believable. I mean, we always tell the truth, but sometimes it's not believable that you have one left, that the offer ends in 5 minutes. It has to be believable. And I promise you, any salesperson, any influencer can create legitimate scarcity without violating any morals. Because just remember the way the brain works. The 2X rules. Basically, losing $200 has the same emotional impact as gaining $100. So losing is 2X, 3X to gaining. And let me add another one. This is interesting research I've done. You want to create that urgency, you want to create that scarcity, but you want to buffer that with some type of reward. So they have both. Wow, I've got to do it today, scarcity, but then the reward, they're going to double my minutes. Hey, I can hold it for a week, but you make a decision by Friday, I can give you an extra 6 months of support. That's what makes the difference. So if you want that resistant free selling, You want to grease those squeaky wheels of your clothes. Watch your demeanor, 5% of your presentation. Make sure you're using scarcity the right way. You're providing options, and if they're sitting on the fence right then and there, offer some type of guarantee or warranty. There you have it. That's podcast 565 of Maximize Your Influence. Special of the week is the free webinar, The Perfect Persuasive Presentation, but it gives you the whole format to design and deliver the perfect persuasive presentation. All you have to do is take your presentation IQ. The link will be in your email and under podcast 565. Takes 10 minutes, helps you with my research, helps you identify your strengths and your weaknesses. And for doing that, you get the free webinar. So take something you learned today, learn to sell under the radar, and go out and persuade with power.